statement yesterday about life after Brexit and the agricultural policy tailor-made for Wales. I'd like to ask her whether she will continue to be open-minded on the question of introducing a ban on the live export of animals. I know she has said this in the past, but that if there were to be such a ban, that it would not extend to Northern Ireland, because we can't have agricultural policy making trade more difficult with other parts of the United Kingdom. And in this context, I don't know whether she's seen the latest edition of Tir, the publication of the Farmers Union of Wales, which is headlined "Live Exports Ban Would Be Short-Sighted in the Context of Other Uncertainties Around Brexit." Only 140 tonnes by weight of animals were exported live from Wales, as I understand, last year. So it's a small problem, but and therefore not likely to cause any great difficulty for farmers. But the fact that the trade is small is not in itself an argument against introducing such a ban if it proves to be justifiable in the context of all the other considerations which would have to be borne in mind, and therefore it wouldn't, on that ground, be ruled out by the Welsh Government.
Thank you for the question. Certainly I would prefer animals to be slaughtered as close as practical to their point of production. And I consider, a trade in meat and meat products to be preferable to long-distance transport to slaughter. It's something that I'm looking at along with DEFRA, and I have seen the article, but obviously we'll have to get that balance. But obviously animal health and welfare is very important to us too.
Of course, the interest of producers have to be given due weight in this argument. But short of introducing an outright ban, there are things that we could do to improve the current legislative regime once we're no longer confined within the carapace of EU regulation. We could make alterations to the length of time permitted to be in transit for animals. We could make alterations to the frequency of rest stops, and we could also reduce the number of animals in transit. So these are all options which might be a halfway house between the two, which would certainly improve the current situation, and illustrates that a greater flexibility in agricultural policy is one of the benefits which Brexit brings.
Well, as you know, the UK government did a call for evidence. We'll have a look at what comes, what the responses are. I would do nothing without consultation, so we'd then go out to consultation. I think it's really important that, along with DEFRA, we're very fully engaged in all the next steps so that we can determine our position. And I absolutely agree with you about flexibility. I think it is one of the big opportunities of Brexit to be able to have that very Welsh-specific policy.
And thirdly, I'd like to ask whether the Cabinet Secretary will consider improving public awareness of the meat which they consume, members of the public consume, by improving accurate labelling of products, clearly stating country of origin, rearing conditions, and most importantly, method of slaughter. Because although we must respect different religious views on ritual slaughter, the public at large often has no idea that they're eating halal meat, for example, and they may not wish to if they had a free choice. Even in fast food chains and so on, this is not currently pointed out. And whilst I believe there should be a freedom on the part of people of different religious persuasions to eat according to their religious tenets, nevertheless, public awareness could reduce public concern if it were to be increased in this way.
I think labelling of food is becoming increasingly important, because I think people are becoming much more interested in the subjects that you referred to. And again, it's a conversation and a discussion that we're having not just at official level, but also at ministerial level in our quadrilaterals. And again, another opportunity with Brexit to make sure we get that right. I'm very keen to have the Welsh dragon and the brand Wales on any food that originates from Wales. So I think, again, there's a lot more we can do. I think the public are becoming more aware. And certainly when you go to the agricultural shows or to any food missions and fairs, people certainly want to be aware of what they are purchasing.